Hello everyone, my name is Pukar Dhital. I'm an English instructor for Grade 7 and today we're going to begin a chapter, Wishes and Choices. We'll read a passage and then learn to answer the questions that follow. Let's begin the class.
So before we begin, let's have a starter. So you can just discuss on these aspects here, like wherever you're living right now, in whichever part of Nepal you are in right now, have you ever wondered what is the present status of your village or city? Present status, or shall I say, what is the present status of the following facilities in your village or city? So just a discussion in the classroom. So as we all know, Nepal is a developing country, right? So have you wondered whether you have these facilities which I'm about to write in your respective places? Okay, so wherever you're living, do you have a road facility there, or do you have a good road there? How about electricity, telephone, and how about the schools and colleges? Or how about television in every houses? So do you have television in every house? And drinking water? And have you wondered that Nepal is the second richest country when it comes to water resources, but still many Nepalese suffer to get pure drinking water. So do we have drinking water? And of course, not every water is drinkable. We should be knowing that. How about health services? Do you have hospitals or health posts in a place where you're living? We can discuss about these factors here. And remember, the more we have these facilities, better is your community, better is your village, all right? Or maybe all these factors which I've mentioned here, maybe your community is progressing towards it. Slowly and gradually, the roads are being developed, right? Maybe you're now having an access to electricity or telephone, school, colleges where you don't have to walk for hours to reach any specific schools. So these are the things which you can just talk about, what you have and what you do not have, or what you want to have, or you can add to it. And are there anything that you want to have? And what do you want in your village? And what do you want in your village? So just discuss. You can take a time, perhaps for the next 5 minutes, you can discuss on this matter and we move forward. Now, in this particular chapter, we have a passage, right, where it's written, My Childhood Wishes, where the writer has compared what his village was like when he was a child and how the village is now, all right, and what is the condition of the village at the current moment, right? So before we do that, okay, remember, if you want to improve your English, you have to have a strong grasp, all right, or a strong command over your vocabulary. And these are just some words which are given here. Perhaps there are many more words which you do not know. So how are you planning to tackle to those words whose meaning you do not know? For now, let's try to figure out these words. And remember, all these words, the words which are given here, all these words, its meanings are given right here, all right? So these are the words which you will find in the passage, by the way. The passage which I'm yet to start, which I will start in a while, all right? So there's a word called simmering, whose meaning is signing. Banyan, have you heard of banyan tree? It's also called a bar tree. Exciting is stimulating, interesting. Rely on, depend on. It's just its meaning. Longingly, thoughtfully. Lifestyle, way of life, standard of living. And abroad means out of the country, in a foreign country. So how do you improve your vocabulary? Okay, the question is, how do you think, how to improve your vocabulary? Of course, whenever you read passages, or perhaps whenever you read a story or any newspaper article from newspaper or magazines, you'll come across words whose meaning you'll not understand. You'd probably not understand. So in that case, make sure that you always have, so here are some of the points which will help you out. All right, these are the elements which you must consider. First of all, make sure you all have this dictionary, right? And thanks to technology today, we have dictionary also on our mobile phone. So maybe you can make best use of it. If not, then of course we can refer to the dictionary and find out meanings of any specific word, right? Of course, you can feel free to use mobile application. Feel free to use dictionary apps on your mobile phone, or we can also call it cell phone. So reading the word is one thing, and I'm going to provide you a specific technique which you can use to improve your vocabulary skills, all right? So what you do is, in your copy or in your notebook, you can first write down the word, all right? So first write down the word, and let's say you don't know the meaning of exciting, all right? And now what you do is, after you write down the word exciting, go for part of a speech. So when we say about part of a speech, we're referring to, hey, is this an adverb? Is this adjective? Is this noun? Or is this a verb? And of course, there are many more to it, but usually we'll either have adverb, adjective, noun, or verb to the words that you'll write. And the best way to find out is, it's always given in your dictionary, right? For when you turn your pages of the dictionary, it's usually given in So if it's always in abbreviated form, right? So for adjective, your dictionary might write ADJ, right? So for noun, it might just write N for noun. For verb, it might write V. Or for adverb, it might just write ADV in the dictionary, right? So it's always given in your dictionary. So make sure if it's ADJ, just write part of speech is adjective. If it's N, go for noun. If it's V, go for verb. If it's ADV, go for adverb. All right, this way you'll get to know it's part of speech, and exciting is a verb. All right, so it's part of speech is verb. So let's go to exciting. So of course now, okay, let's continue this in the next page. So now we have here word is exciting, part of speech, verb. Now, the next thing that you should consider is sentence from the book, meaning how this particular word is used in the book. As you read the book, you'll find out that this particular word is used somewhere in the passage. So you just copy down that sentence as it is in the book. See, now if you refer to the passage that I'm about to read, it's in the second paragraph where you'll find this word, how the writer has used this word. And it says, sentence from the book, it was an exciting moment for everyone in the village. So see, it was an exciting moment for everyone in the village. And once you write this sentence from the book, go for sentence of my own. Now you make the very sentence, you use the very word exciting and make a sentence of your own. Now you can take help from the book, how it's used in the book. Okay, so for sentence of my own, so what do you think you can possibly make? You can take a time, think of it. So, and use this word to make a sentence of your own. It was very exciting to see Messi. Maybe most of you are familiar with Messi, right? He is a football player. So it was very exciting to see Messi on the football field. So see, so this is the format which you can follow, right? Make sure you write this down in your copy or in a notebook. And whenever you have problem or whenever there are words whose meaning you do not know, follow this format and write its meaning down. And in fact, you follow the same format in your copy, it will very much help you to understand the word. Okay, so moving forward, this technique, please make sure you use this technique. It will literally help you to build up a vocabulary skill and also your writing skill, because you'll be eventually learning how to use this word in your sentences, all right, or in your writing. So let's continue. I'm going to read this passage, my childhood wishes. All right, so please observe my reading carefully, and as I read, if you have the book, you can follow the book, or if not, you can follow me on the screen. My childhood wishes. Read the first paragraph of the following passage and make a list of the writer's wishes when she was a child. So your task is to read the first paragraph and just list down the writer's wishes when she was a child. What she wished for when she was a child. The village of Chewa in the Sankuasaba district is a special village for me. It is my village. When I was growing there as a child, there was no electricity, drinking water, or road. I always wished that my village could have these things too. The first development project that the village received was drinking water. The water was brought from Pangma village, which lies above Chewa. It was an exciting moment for everyone in the village. We did not have to rely on the little water hole under the tree anymore. Then the district headquarters, Kadbari, got electricity. We could only see the simmering lights in the evenings. We looked longingly at those lights and wished that we too had our own source of electricity. Solar panels and batteries then became available, but these were not for everybody. Only those who could afford it got electricity from the solar panels. Then I came to Kathmandu and haven't been back to my village for a long time. I've heard that a road has now reached the village. It is a dirt road and has made a big difference to the people in my village. Now they don't have to carry loads like they used to. The communication in the area has also progressed. People now can talk to each other through mobile phones. Certainly, many of the things that I wished for in my childhood are now there. On the other hand, the village had little progress in the area of education. It still has the same school that I used to go. The people of the village have not changed their lifestyle either. They still live the same way they used to. Development has also brought other kind of change to my village. Most of the young people have now left the village. They've gone to the cities or have gone to work abroad. Many of them come back during the festival season in October. But they stay there only for a short time. There are many children in my village and I wonder what they wish for nowadays. Do they wish for development projects like I used to do? Or do they just wish to go away to study or work like all those young people? Now let's move forward. Now here's some exercise to do. So the passage talks about change that has taken place in Chewa, which is in Sankuasaba district. And the author compares how the village was when she was a child and how the village is now. Okay, so you can read the passage again on your own to understand it. Now, let's see here. Read the passage and say whether these statements are true or false. So, having read the passage, now identify whether these statements given here, whether they are true or false. Now, the first statement says the first development project. Now you can, before I say, you can take a time, maybe you can take the next 6 or 7 minutes time and try to figure it out whether it's true or false. It's all based on the passage. So maybe you want to read the passage again, read this statement here, right? First read this statement and again you can read the passage and write whether it's true or false. So let's begin. The first development project of Chewa was drinking water. Is that true or false? Well, that's correct. That's true. Now, the people of Kadbari were first to have electric lights in the country. Now, the people of Kadbari were first to have electric lights in the country. Is that correct? Is that the people of Kadbari, were they the first one to have electric lights in the whole country? Of course, it's not. Okay, so it's false. It says, now different vehicles carry goods to Chewa. Now, if you look at the 4th paragraph, you'd come across a sentence which says, now people, or they don't have to carry loads like they used to. Then yes, it means that now the vehicles, because there's a dirt road there, all right, the unpaved road, and that's why, yes, it is true. Now different vehicles carry goods to Chewa. Now it says number D, much progress in schooling can now be observed in Chewa village. So that is incorrect, all right, because in the 3rd last paragraph, the author clearly writes that on the other hand, the village had little progress in the area of education, meaning not much has been done in the field of education. So it is false. And finally, many young people live in the village, which helps the village to develop. Is that the correct answer? Many young people live in the village, which helps the village to develop. Well, as you know, the condition of Nepal right now, many youngsters go abroad to work and to earn their livelihood, all right? So sadly, this is an incorrect answer, all right? Of course, when you don't have youngsters working in their own country, it becomes very difficult for any nation to develop, right? So many young people live in the village, which helps the village to develop, which is again false. So this is true and false. Okay, so let's move forward again. We'll deal with some question and answers. So let's answer on the questions here. It says, so here's the question. Why was it not possible for every family to use solar power for electricity? So every time you answer a question, remember, most of the time, the answer begins from the question itself. Never forget that, and do take care of few things like which tense is the question in, or what is the auxiliary verb used there. Okay, so why was it not possible for every family to use solar power for electricity? Now, for this answer, if you look at the passage in the 3rd paragraph, in fact, and if you read the 3rd paragraph, you'll get the answer. See, it says solar panels and batteries then became available, but these were not for everybody. Only those who could afford it got electricity from the solar panels. Meaning it was expensive. See, only those who could afford, means the one who can buy it, purchase it, got electricity from the solar panels. So you can write your answer. Remember what I've just said? Most of the times. So remember what I had said? Usually the answer begins from the question. Alright, so we write it. See, we begin from here. Alright, we're beginning the answer from here. It. And then we go refer to the tense used here, was. So don't put like it is. Alright, it goes wrong. So let's go for was. So it was not possible for every family to use solar power for electricity. It was not possible for every family to use solar power for electricity because it was not possible for every family to use solar power for electricity because it was very expensive and not the village could afford it. See, so the answer goes, it was not possible for every family to use solar power for electricity because it was very expensive and not everyone from the village could afford it. Okay, so I'm going to give you a few questions for homework and I'm sure you'll be able to do it. And remember, the answers are all in the passage. Okay, where did the water for the first development project in Chewa village come from? Where did the water for the first development project in Chewa village come from? Number B, what changes can you see in the village in terms of communication? Number C, why do many young people from Cheva, go abroad. What differences can we see in people's lifestyle? Now, moving forward, we have ways with words. So it says, read the passage and find the words that give closest meanings to the following. The first one which is given is, so what do you call plans or schemes for development? So what is the answer to this? Cultural event. What is the answer to this? So to find out the words which give closest meaning to these phrases, you'll again have to read the passage, of course. So what do you call plans or schemes for development? So go through that passage again and figure out that word. So let me do A for you. So after you read the second paragraph, you'll fairly find answer to this particular phrase, right? Plans or schemes for development. So the answer would be project. See, in a similar manner, you can get answer to what you call a cultural event. Please make sure that you read the passage very carefully to figure out one word answer to what we call cultural event. Okay. As we move further, we have number C, easy and handy to carry along with. Provide an answer to this, one word answer to that, right? And we move on to D, it's related to the sum. So what do you think is the answer to this? Remember, all the answers lie in the passage, right? So you have to read the passage really carefully. Number E, out of the ordinary. So what do you think is answer to this, out of the ordinary? So you can take a time in the classroom and do it, all right? You can also discuss with friends while figuring out answer to these phrases. Similarly, we have, as we move further, again, right here, so you might want to also take help from the dictionary, all right? So find the words in the passage that give similar meaning to the following. So see, what do we call words which are similar in meaning? Have you ever heard the term? So the words are time, fetched, doubt, unusual, reside, and hoped. Alright, and of course the words which give similar meaning to all these in single word, we call it synonym. Alright, so synonym are all those words which give similar meaning. Of course, they are different words, alright, pronounced differently. For instance, synonym is a word whose meaning is the same as that of another word. Simple as that, right? Like, for example, I can provide you an example here. Now, remember what the definition is? It says a word whose meaning is the same. I mean, the meaning remains the same, but the word changes. All right? A word whose meaning is the same as that of another word. So, for example, right, let's have a few examples here. For example, if I have here happy, so if I tell you to write a synonym of happy, what do you think you'll write it down? So, how about joy? Or it could also be glad. See? So this is what we call synonym. Alright? So similarly, from the passage, you find the words which mean the same. Okay? A word whose meaning is the same as that of another word. So find all those words whose meaning is just the same. Alright? You'll get those words in the passage, and then you can write it down and do it as a classwork here. Or you can discuss it with the friends as well. Now, we go for one more classwork here. Alright? So, based on the situations given, write the appropriate expressions. Appropriate expressions. Like, for instance, A. Now, the situation here to you is you don't have a bicycle. You hope to have one. So how do you think you're going to answer this? You don't have a bicycle, you hope to have one. Now this is your situation, and see the heading says, based on the situations given, write the appropriate expression. So in what way are you going to express this? You don't have a bicycle, you hope to have one. So I wish I had a bicycle. You don't have a bicycle, you hope to have one. I wish I had a bicycle, meaning you don't have it, but you hope to have one. Alright? And this I wish I had, this past perfect here, this makes the difference here. This tells you that you don't currently have a bicycle, and that's why you are wishing for it. I wish I had a bicycle. Or it could be I wish I had an aeroplane. Or I wish I had a helicopter. Moving forward, your friend offers you Coke, but you like Fanta. So in what way are you going to write the appropriate expression? Your friend offers you Coke, but you like Fanta. So to this you can again write, I wish to have Fanta instead of Coke. Now, you're going to do the rest of the situations which I'll provide you here. Okay? Now, let's go to number C. So, the situation is your friends got prizes, but you did not. You also hoped to get some. Okay, so you can provide an answer to this. You can discuss with your friends and you can answer it. Number D. You can choose one thing for casa, biscuits or donut, right? To which you'll have to provide an answer. So what kind of expression will you provide to these kind of situations? Now, let's talk about homework, shall we? So this is more like a discussion question which you will be asking to a teacher. Okay, so I will say you ask this question to a teacher. Say this is write 10 questions to ask your teachers. Now, it could be to any of your teachers, science, maths, English, Nepali, alright? So, questions may be about anything you like. So, you have freedom of question here. Anything you like. For example, maybe you want to ask your teacher about everyday life. Maybe you want to ask your teacher about earth, wildlife, study. Maybe you're very keen to know how you want to improve your academics, family or family life. Or maybe you want to ask a teacher about God, what is God or who is God, death or afterlife, etc. Right? Remember that these questions may be very difficult even for teachers, right? For your teacher to answer. And your next homework is meet 10 different people in your community or it could be village. Ask them what they wish to have in the village. Remember, this whole chapter is about how a certain village has changed for good. Now make a chart of their answers and display in the classroom. Meet 10 different people in your community or village. Ask them what they wish to have in the village. Make a chart of their answers and display in the classroom. So, of course, feel free to be creative and provide a suitable heading to your chart paper, right? And after you provide a heading and make sure there's a good border line in your chart paper, provide a heading to your chart paper, feel free to use your creativity, right? And after you're done with that, just list down those 10 things which your neighbor or your community people or your or people from a village have wished for, right? So maybe we go for okay, let's say for an example, Tulianti wished there was a water tap near her house. So see, this way you can list down 10 things that your neighbors or people from your community wish for, right? That they want in their village. This you can do as a homework. So thank you very much. And if you have any queries, please feel free to email us at learning@deerwalk.edu.np. Thank you very much.